speak to you. I'm glad to have an opportunity to speak to you about this topic. Thanks to the MFRD Foundation and people who have invited me to just cover this topic. Um, I'm hoping to just essentially the idea is just to explain or just share my journey, and then through that, right, explain some things what I've learned over the past and things what I have known being in this field, so that it will help you, and then you could probably use some of the things or the tips what I have gone through to explore this career option. There are so many other options as well, but knowing about where your interest might lie or just exploring different things is always a good thing. And I have seen other sessions which this forum has done previously, which have been on very good topics. So hopefully this will give you some more insight about this interesting area, and then you could explore about more and see if you want to build a career or make a switch to this if you're already working in some other areas. So we are talking about, so I'll take a step back. So what we'll do is we'll just understand some basics of ERP, like okay, what is really ERP. Now, it's the term which has been used very long time back, and then still continues to be in focus. So we'll understand what really is ERP. Why do we need ERP? Why do business need ERP? What is the need? And then slightly going from a need to how do systems or companies implement an ERP? What are the different options they are given? If you are to implement a system, what are the different options we get? We'll talk about on-premise and cloud. All the shift has been to cloud, as you have seen over the past few years now, and a lot of people are moving to cloud. So why cloud, right? What is the benefit cloud offers? So we'll talk about that, and then I'll talk about what. So I work in Oracle space. So I'll give you an overview of what the Oracle product is about. How do they differentiate or segregate different parts of the product into modules? So we'll talk over that, and that's where I'll give you some more information about where you can find more information. We'll talk about what are the different career options this field has, what type of job opportunities exists now, given the shift in terms of how the softwares are evolving, how the field has been evolved in terms of job careers. We'll talk about that, and then definitely take questions. I encourage you to mark any questions you have, and if it is something you want to ask while we are presenting, I think raise your hand or just speak that you have a question. We can cover that, but we'll have some dedicated Q&A time at the end. All right, so moving into just a brief overview of my background. So I'm Raziuddin Ansari. I'm an Oracle certified Fusion HCM consultant. I've been in this field for about 10 years. I've done Oracle consulting. I started in Oracle e-business suite, which was the on-premise Oracle ERP solution. So I started my career in that field, and then I have moved to Oracle Fusion HCM Cloud about 4 to 5 years ago, and I've done consulting roles where we have implemented the product for different clients in different regions. So, and then my background, so I started my career right after college in this space. I am a BTech in Information and Communication Technology from DICT. And right after college, I moved into this career option of ERP consulting, which excited me for different reasons, because speaking with different clients, understanding the business, and making yourself more up to date in the area. So that helped me choose this option, and then from there I've seen different clients which help me grow different business requirements, which help you understand the area a lot better. So right now I am in a financial organization where we are kind of ensuring the system stays up to date, get the regular updates in the system, resolve any critical issues for them. So that's my quick background. So going into what really is ERP. So ERP, if you just go by the definition, it's any software, right, that organization use to manage the day-to-day business activities. So if you're running a company, you have different things to take care of in a company, right? To run it successfully, you need accounting. Okay, how much money is coming? What is the balance sheet, P&L? There are different type of reporting which you need to generate. There are regulatory requirements for countries. Let's say if you are in a certain country like India, where you have, for example, now the GST regime, so you have to report certain things from there, like how much is your tax input, output. So all that, every business needs to have a software to manage those type of business processes. Procurement, right? Every business will procure something, like raw materials to make it into a finished product, right? So how do you manage your procurement? So that is another very big piece of soft, like, processes which needs to be managed by a company. Project management, people like in real estate sector, there are different projects which needs to be managed. So how do you ensure the right information is tracked, right processes are in place? All this is done through software which collectively is referred to as enterprise resource planning software. You manage risk management and compliance, more and more focus on managing risk and compliance, because you need to generate for government different reports. There has been focus on different areas like, equality, diversity and inclusion. How many employees do you have, like with diversity ratios, things like that. So getting all this information or managing it in a business requires a very strong software, which is what we refer to as enterprise resource planning. And it has different like parts to it, and then different processes within it, with each its vertical, so that you can manage each of these items, under that. So as it says, ERP tie together multitude of business process and enable flow of data between them. So flow of data is very crucial here, because um, procurement ties very much into accounting, right? You have a cost of procurement which needs to go to your balance sheet. Then, you have somebody procuring who needs to raise a request. So there needs to be employee information available in the system. So there are like interdependent pieces of information which each of these business processes require. So having centralized data in a place, and then having this separate business processes who can take the information from a central place is very important. So that's where ERP systems, they tie together all these pieces of different business processes, and then they help the companies, right, in a different way, like getting efficiencies in the process, or just getting benefit out of all the information available, right? So ERP also eliminate duplicate information. So since you have central data bucket, right, all the information in one place, right, you don't avoid data duplication. That is very crucial, because storing one data in different places is not a good approach, because there are chances of data not being accurate, data being not in sync. Then different problems arise, and then your reporting is not correct. So there is a big focus on getting data in a centralized location and then using it, right? So having an employee information in single place would help you get this to different areas, right? That will be a single source of truth. Now, as we've told, ERP is tying together different business process, right? So what is a business process? So business process is, let's take an example of a human resource area, right? An HR function of a business. Now, HR function has different flows it needs to manage. A very basic example of is a hire to retire business, right? So when a company hires an employee, until the person leaves the company or gets terminated, there is a sequence of business events which can happen in the life cycle. So there is a defined series of steps, right, which are laid out, right, for each of its events which can take place. Let's say we have a transfer which a person needs to apply for. So there is a process where employee initiates the request that he needs a transfer. It goes to the manager. Again, it's a sequence of steps, and there is a performer for each step. Manager reviews the request, approves it. Then it goes to HR to process the transfer. It gets updated in the system, and then it flows to the payroll information, where payroll gets update of that, hey, this person has a change in department, change in cost center, or where this person is going to be getting paid from because he's already transferred to this place. So that information needs to go to a final place where it needs to get updated. So all these sequence of steps, right, tying together make a business process. Every function has a business process. Procurement, right? Procurement meaning you want to get goods from somewhere. So there needs to be an RFP, and then there is a process for getting quotes, and then you finalize a quote, then you issue the order, right? So there are different steps in each function. So very clearly, and a successful company has to very clearly define its process. They need to define how they function, what are the different steps each situation can be in, and then lay out different performers, different controls, and things like that. So there is a very critical aspect of any business, and a lot of business spend very good amount investment to get the business process defined, especially big companies, right? They hire consultants to get define their business process. So once the steps of sequence, like whatever function is in your respective function, you have different. So once it is clearly defined, then it makes it easy for you, for anybody to understand how you function as a company, and then you can easily map that business process to any product. So ERP systems, right? There are different ERP systems in the market, but the core thing is that system needs to support company's requirement or company's business process effectively. So having a clear defined business process is very basic step to getting a good ERP system and then using it to its full benefit. Another example of a business process is again hiring, right? Somebody in a company, there's a requirement to hire. So there will be a step for HR to update the job portal. Candidates apply in that portal. HR gets the information of the candidate, screens the candidate, lists out, okay, how many candidates out of this are filtered. All of these are steps in the hiring business flow. And then for each of this step, there is a system requirement. So when we say HR posts on a job portal, there is a need for having a job portal and the access for HR to be able to post on the portal. So every business process has an inherent system dependency or a system enabled partner who can support that business process, right? So that's how your system becomes part of the process, and then it becomes a crucial part of it. Then you need to have candidates to be able to apply. Then candidates information to be available in a form where HR can easily filter it. So, and then you move the candidate to the next state for the ones who you have filtered. So that is another step in the process. And then from there is a step where you issue the offer. There's a negotiation once the offer is accepted, and then finally the person joins, right? So that's really the end of this hiring process. Once the person joins, that's really the recruiting process ends. So again, it's just a series of steps. Every step has some dependency on what the system should do for it. And then once you have the steps organized and systems enabled, that's when you can then take benefit of the ERP application. ERP applications are very critical to managing thousands of business of size of all industries. Every industry, right, has a definite need to manage all this information. And the good companies have a strong understanding of their processes. They implement a good ERP and then make use of it. So an example is the automotive industry. So they have a requirement of procuring parts and components from different suppliers. So they have a need of an ERP system to track requisitions, purchase of goods, ensure the components across the entire procure to pay cycle are uniform, data is connected, that they know that when the goods are going to be delivered, because then that will impact the car delivery. So there is a lot of requirement of different reports at different stages, and that can only be possible if you have a centralized system which manages all this information. So but ERP should be deployed appropriately, understanding all your needs, right? Once it's done that way, then when ERP is properly deployed at this company, right, a component like front brake pads is uniformly identified by part name, size, material, source, lot number. So there are different pieces of information you can add, and then you can add the cost, specification, and all the other additional information if you want to add about the product can be added. Now, the data is lifeblood of any modern company. Like, as much data you will have, as much learning you can do from your data, that's really the knowledge of a company. So this system will make it possible to collect all the information, have that sources of information for you, and then you could do a lot of analytics, reporting, procurement. Having effective procurement module would help you understand, okay, where is your maximum cost? How long does it take to get the product? Things like that, right? All that information can be identified. So, it's an example is it's indispensable as electricity that keeps the light on, right? For a core business, it's very indispensable that they have a good ERP system. So just to summarize, I think some of the things we have talked about. So business value of ERP, right? So it gives you an improved business side from real-time information generated by reports. We have a centralized data, we have different modules, right? Definitely a lot of improved business insight. They can make smarter decisions based on understanding all these aspects, right? Different type of reports can be generated, lower operational costs because streamlined business process, as you said, right? Different functions will talk to each other. They'll have the end-to-end flows from all the places, right? So there will be a streamlined operations, lower operational cost, enhanced collaboration from users in contract, acquisition, purchase orders, right? It will be enhanced collaboration because they'll speak to each other, improved efficiency through a common user experience, having a one single login for managing all your backend business processes, right? Would help you be giving a good user experience. In a single place, person will go and check his employee details and also his work, what he needs to do as procurement manager or finance manager, for example. Consistent infrastructure from the back office to front office with all business activities having the same look and feel. Now, if you have a good software of ERP you have implemented, and then it's easy to use, you'll see higher adoption rates and users more and more going system way to do all the tasks they need to on a day-to-day basis, which will definitely be very easy to maintain. The data accuracy would be right. So it's definitely good for everybody to have a system which gives a good output. Reduced risk through improved data integrity and financial controls, lower management and operational costs, right? All these benefits would come out of having a good ERP system. So far, like, ERPs have been, until the late 90s, right? They have been like independent softwares which companies have, chosen. Like e-business suite, as I mentioned, was an on-premise software where Oracle, as the vendor, would give the software to the company. They'll have a requirement of servers, and then you would actually go and install the software on the servers, and they would set up the whole environment, and then those environments would be accessible to users. There's a lot of like setup things involved, and then it would be mainly on-premise. Like the company itself would have its own version of the product they will use, and they will like implement the product, map to the business process and use. But all that has been, the process or the industry's evolved from that. Now there's a lot of requirement in that earlier model. There used to be like hardware required, software licensing required, capital investments. You need experts to, come to your company on the site and then have install those hardware softwares. There's definitely some license cost to it. There's maintenance involved. You need, administrators and all that. But as ERP, as the internet has advanced, there's cloud technologies everywhere, a lot of enhancements, new features, AI, a lot of things have come in the market. So ERP also has embraced a lot of these new features. And what they have done is there's a move now to cloud. So cloud is the new delivery model where companies have, built and invested a lot of in, like the software companies like Oracle, Microsoft, SAP, they have invested over the time a lot of amount to get ERP in a cloud delivery model, which is software as a service. And, most of you would be familiar. If not, I think there's already some lectures about cloud technology. You could refer that. But ERP in cloud is the latest, trend, or basically this is what is right hot in the industry, because cloud is very easy, because you can reduce your operational and capital expenses. Cloud is just, taking a subscription from a vendor, and then that vendor already has the standard business process created in its system. There will be a certain time where you would use to implement and, change few things based on your business, and then you're ready to go. It's not a full-fledged multi-year implementation. The implementation cycles for, the companies have reduced a lot. So you could just take a cloud system. Cloud system can be accessible directly as you would, access any website, right? Just log in with your own specific logins which the companies will give you, and you can start using it. So definitely a lot of benefit on operational and capital expenses. It eliminates the needs to, purchase hardware, software. It's scalable. We'll talk a bit more about, the benefits of what cloud can give you, but it's always up to date, right? The software company maintaining the cloud ERP will maintain it and make it more up to date. So, employees can shift their focus from managing IT to more value tasks, right? So you don't really have to, go into deep of managing the application, but you can more focus on how can you get benefit out of the application. So these are very, very important benefits which, cloud ERP is offering, where a lot of companies have understood that, hey, this is the time to move now to a cloud ERP if they have not already. So that's really the trend, or focus, and a lot of companies have made those steps and they have moved on, and most of the companies are making a step towards moving into this new type of delivery models. So this is just a quick comparison of what an on-premise ERP, like whatever SAP, Oracle, on-premise application which you installed on your site, right, versus having a cloud. What are the benefits or comparisons? So in software initially, right, if you would do an on-premise, there will be a license cost, there will be annual maintenance cost and an ongoing. But for cloud ERP, it's just annual subscription. It's like your Netflix or Amazon Prime subscription. You just pay a fees for a year, and then you kind of add that to a year as you go, right? You don't have to invest upfront or give the license cost upfront. App pay as you go models have come in the cloud ERP. So that's the difference. So it definitely adds a lot of cost efficiencies. Hardware requirements, right? Earlier you would need to have different servers, you need to deploy it, you need to test it, there will be instance development. Things don't go right, so you have to get the right engineers involved, get the people involved. But with cloud ERP, that's not the case, right? The company already manages the application. You don't really have to invest anything on hardware. That's really the company who's managing cloud ERP does all the things for you. There's no maintenance of hardware or nothing like that. So that's definitely, that change is gone for companies, which is a beneficial for them. You don't have to invest a lot on this part, right? They just pay as they go. So let's say consulting. So this part actually talks about, let's say if you buy a software, so what Oracle, SAP, they give a standard package software, which has all the key business process what a company would need. But then according to your own requirements, you would have to implement or, basically customize the software as per your needs. So you still have some sort of consulting needed in both the models, because even cloud ERP, you would need the product to work as per your needs. So there's some work to, tweak it to your needs, right? So there's some effort involved in consulting in both the areas. So this is a very important part. So moving to cloud ERP, right? And we'll talk a bit more about the different roles, but this is what is the change which the companies have done. Earlier in on-premise models, where company had their own system, then they needed employees who could do hardware scoping, testing. They needed system developers, integrators, database administrators, application developers, support and hardware administrators. But the trend has absolutely changed with cloud ERP. You no longer need hardware testing folks. You no longer need system developer, or I mean, you need system developer, but you don't need database administrator, because that is all managed by cloud. So there are more and more opportunities in the cloud with these type of roles, which include system integrators. Like system integrators, basically who understands the product and understands the business, and then able to implement the product for you. You still need application developers to create new reports, extensions. If you have multiple systems, how can you make them talk to each other? So those application developers are still needed in the market. So these opportunities do exist. And then system super users who can understand the system and then be the super user of the system, like generate reports or make the benefit out of the system. So this is a shift in on-premise to cloud. And if you see, more and more job opportunities would be around these type of roles which exist in the market today, versus earlier where you used to have more on like database administrators, hardware scoping, developer integrators, right? It's shift to more of system integrator, application developer, system super users. So this is like the initial employment requirement, but as you go, right, as the companies implement the software, they start to use it. They needed system administrator, application developers, troubleshooters, but you no longer need system administrator now, because cloud is managing the software for you. So it'll be business analysts need change managers and application developers, who would be needed, right, in an ongoing cloud ERP work. So this is just in short the benefits of what cloud ERP offers, right? So it's definitely reduction in the labor and development cost. Requirement analysis will come down. Software testing also comes down to a bit. Maintenance support cost also, because it's more subscription model versus in having something on site. Backup management cost, overall project cost, right? So that's how the benefits it offers. So that's why companies realizing these benefits have started to make a move, and most have already moved to this new breed of applications. Benefits of cloud ERP. Again, low upfront cost because it's subscription model. You don't invest a lot on the hardware. Mobility and accessibility. You can log in from anywhere, basically, right? You just need a login. You can log in sitting anywhere, different locations, different countries. You just need a login, URL, username, and password. So definitely, and you can also use mobile to log in, right? That's also the new functionality which all these ERP applications are offering, because not everybody in a company has an access to laptop or things like that. So they need to have mobile enabled interfaces where things can be done quickly. So mobility and accessibility is a very big requirement these days, and mobile being so penetrated in the market, like everybody has a mobile, it's very easy for the companies to just have an interface of their application on the mobile app, and users can just go and do it. An example of this is, let's say if it's like a transport company, you'll have drivers as part of your company, and you would need them to do something like raise a request, or say raise an incident, things like that. So it will be easy to do it through mobile versus having actually log in through an application or a laptop. So mobility and accessibility, again, benefit of Oracle cloud ERP, faster implementation, because it's already a pre-packaged product which the different companies offer. So it's faster because you already know the main business process in the area. You use it to tweak it to your needs, and then you can implement it a lot quicker than earlier, because there's no installation. You just take a login and start working on it. So this is I've taken a snapshot from the Gartner research. You can find it online as well. So Gartner is a company who does research of different ERP players in the market. So you would see Oracle Fusion, right, or Oracle Cloud ERP. That's it's quite a leading application in the market, because it has different modules integrated well. There's a lot of development they are doing. There are other products too which have been implemented, like Microsoft has a CRP, Infor has a CRP. You will see SAP, COD, Plex. There are different softwares which you will see here, these are all cloud ERPs which are very hot in the market based on different type of industries, different products are chosen by the companies. Like manufacturing, SAP is very strong, but other like healthcare and all, Oracle is stronger. So based on what your company is doing, they choose different products in the market. But if you see, this just gives you an overview of what are the different players in the market in this area, and then that can help you understand, where you should, if you're trying to make a move, right? Based on this, you can see which area you want to choose, because again, there's a lot of options available for you to choose which career technology you want to choose and then move forward in here. What we'll do now is just do a Oracle cloud overview. So what Oracle cloud, as you saw, right? They do have different applications, and then where they have the complete suite of ERP applications. So we'll just go over what Oracle Cloud really is, and then what are the different modules it has. And we'll also see a quick product demo, which is already available on their site. So just try to use that piece. And the good thing about all these cloud ERP applications is so much detail is available on the internet. Like, even you just sitting with just an internet connection can just explore a lot more about this, because a lot of things are just, a click away. You don't need any special logins, licenses, nothing. There's a lot of information about these products very much available online. So if you want to go explore yourself, it's very easy to just go. So if I actually have just gone into this oracle.com/ERP, you can just explore this as well. So, there will be like, if you just go to this website, Oracle ERP, right, there is also this link to download Cloud ERP for Dummies. This is also a very good place for you to learn about what our Cloud ERP is, what benefits it offers, whatever I've covered, and in more detail, right? This ebook, and again, it's free for download on this website. So you could just register yourself and then download the ebook to learn more about it. And then this is again a snapshot of what I showed you about Cloud ERP, right? The Gartner research, they're saying, everybody wants to push the product. So they are showing where Oracle stands, in this quadrant. And then there's the placement about it, right? So it's for different like product centric and mid-sized large global companies, where you will see like Workday, Oracle ERP Cloud, SAP. These are very big players in this area. So what does Cloud ERP, Oracle Fusion Cloud, what it's called, right? Or Oracle Cloud ERP, right? So these are the different verticals which Oracle Cloud Enterprise Resource Planning Software has. Financials. So financials, right? It will get you a clear picture of how to make your financial decisions better, right? It will have accounting, reporting and analytics, payables and assets, revenue management, receivables, collections, expense management, joint venture management, different features of what financial sector needs, right? Or financial module in your company needs. Right? This is a vertical of Cloud ERP software. There's a project management module as well. So if the company is in a area, for example, like real estate, I've given an example earlier, like they'll have different projects. So if you want to manage project, there's a separate module of a project, Oracle projects, right, which will help you manage your project, resources in the project, task management, project cost control, project billing, contracts, these details. So if you see here, it also says take a project management tour, right? So if you click on that, right, it'll just take you to a tour which you can, just see the application and see the, high level features. I'm not going to the tour for this one, but we'll go into an HCM Cloud a little bit later. Right. Okay. Yeah, we were here. So project management and then procurement. Oracle procurement is a module again in Oracle Cloud ERP where it simplifies the intuitive user experience. It gives you analytics, different things. Again, it manages. So there are different modules. So so it's a ERP again is a very vast field, right? So even if you will take, like, if I like given me an example, I have taken the career of this, but I choose only the HCM cloud modules, and within cloud I have specialization within a couple of areas. So when you would explore again, you would not be a master of all, or you can't work on all of them. You probably have to just choose a track, and then there's so much within that track itself that you have to then specialize to a certain thing where you are expert in that area. So for procurement, there are different modules like procure to pay. So they're managing that whole procure to pay cycle. There's a separate module, different steps, configuration, screens, user interface involved as part of this module, which if you want to learn, you have to get some understanding of all that to be able to understand and master this area. Contract, supplier management, business network, sourcing, and they are part of procurement. Risk management, risk management and compliance, right? How can you manage risk? What are the compliance needs, right? What are the different features of that area you can find in that module? Enterprise performance management. So performance management is basically to understand how good your business or how bad your business is doing. That you can only understand if you have all the information related to your HR, supply chain, sales, right? And then you can club that together to get performance reporting, right? Let's say how much is your cost per product, or how much is your employee per employee cost, how much are you spending on an employee. So all these they call as KPIs, right? Key performance index. They can be reported from this enterprise performance management module of the Oracle ERP application. So, but the prerequisite for this is to have the earlier modules implemented. Supply chain and manufacturing, right? So in this area, and all the items related to supply chain. So inventory, manufacturing, order management, right? These are the different processes which come as part of the supply chain manufacturing vertical. And these are the different products or areas where you could explore and then understand what are the functionalities of this product. In ERP analytics, again, it's another interface to give you more insights into your business. So Oracle Cloud ERP has a separate module for giving you more reports like KPIs, best practice metrics, things like that, right? So which will help you be more efficient in your business. So these are some high level, right, product verticals which Oracle ERP has, right? But let's say if you want to explore more, let's see about procurement. If you want to explore more, you can just learn more about Oracle procurement. So then in detail, it will give you, okay, what are the different sub features, and then cloud self-service PDF. So it will give you more details about what are the detailed level features, what you can do with the application. So if you are as a learner and you want to understand what really this product is or feature is, you can drill in more, understand, it will give you some more understanding of what this particular area is about, and then it will give you just an overview of different features, functionalities. Again, this will just be a starting step to learn the area, and then you could take some courses and certifications, right, or trainings to understand more about these in depth. As part of ERP, again, human capital management is also a very big piece. And there's a lot of focus now on managing employee information. Earlier, we used to refer it as human resource, but now it's human capital. It's more of investments the companies are making, right? So, and there's more and more focus on employee, because employee is actually a very key factor of any business, right? If there are employees, people to manage the business well, that's how they'll be successful. So managing employees, there are different events in the life cycle of an employee. So Oracle Human Capital Management is a very, very mature product in the market. There's a lot of features or enhancements they do very frequently, which makes it, very innovative and very up to date in the market. So a lot of companies have chosen HCM Cloud to go, or like a lot of leading banks, hospitals, they are moving towards this Oracle Human Capital Management. And the beauty about Oracle products is, like, let's say if you only want to deploy a certain part, right? Only human capital separately and have ERP separately, that's possible as well. The thing with that options would be that you would have to build in some integrations to send data back to, your other system so that they have the information. But a lot of companies do a hybrid mix of implementation where they choose their HR system or human capital system from a vendor, and then other systems are on some other vendor because they give them a better functionality. So there's a hybrid approach which companies use as well. But human capital management, again, very mature product in the market. Different pieces it has, like you can manage your core employee information, your onboarding, benefits, absence management, raising, leave request, how to manage that, and then tying that with payroll information. All those pieces are available within this application. And then you have workforce directory, just to, search anybody about in your company and want to know more about it. Because what companies have realized is, need to collaborate within the company better. So there are big companies who already have a lot of employees and a lot of expertise within their own organization. So how to explore those, you know employee opportunities within the organization. So there are directories, and then it's more of sort of a mini LinkedIn type of information the companies want to build within their network, so that within the company they can know better about the employees. And let's say if they have new work coming up, right, they can identify resources within their own company as well. So that's why companies try to explore and use this application. HR help desk is more of, let's say if you have any queries, you raise a request. So managing those things through an HR help desk, work-life solutions. And I think with human capital management, there's also a lot of focus about, you know, COVID pandemic being in the picture, and then vaccine requirements. So how do you track all those information against employees? So it also offers extensible options where you can add certain flows and, get more information like vaccine information from employees. So some of the features which Oracle HCM offers. So I'll just show you a quick demo of what this website has. So this is how an Oracle ERP or Oracle Human Resource product will be. So again, as we said, right, they have multiple device access enabled already. You just have to log in through any application, and then that application will be tailored to your device. So this is a overview of Oracle HCM. It just grades you with your own name. Again, all the information available already based on the time it does that. It gives you learning recommendations, my team compensation. If you're a manager, you want to see what your team details is. There are different tabs available. And then things to finish will show you different approval notifications which you would have. So it's basically a UI of what an employee login will look like, or a manager login will look like. So me tab would be about all your information, like your own personal details, contact information. My team would be about your my team details. And my client groups would be about, like, if you're an HR and you have certain groups to manage, right? So that tab will have information about your groups, which you can explore from that. So things to finish, this is like just approval, which is can be done quickly through the overview of the main page itself. Right, you'll get notifications, you can approve, reject, see the details, right, very quickly on the UI. Analytics, different analytics, right? How many required, if your team has some required learnings, how many have been overdue, completed, all that metrics, right? That's the real benefit of these applications. How much is hiring is going on by actual forecast. Again, this is also a very good feature. So if you're seeing the screen now, There is more of conversational UIs which different websites companies have enabled. This is also coming into this Oracle Cloud ERP space. In HCM Cloud, they have enabled something called as Oracle Digital Assistant, which has delivered AI capabilities behind the scenes. And then if you want to just ask somebody that, hey, what is my leave balance? You don't need a person sitting behind to get the details and answer it to you. You already have the information in the system. You ask a question, there is a AI bot behind it, and then it just gives you the reply. So the very latest features, they're already incorporated, and then people want to make use of it, right? These are the latest things in the market. So it's more and more adding features about making it more conversational. You can ask the questions directly in the system, getting you the information without somebody going and checking the details and coming back to you. So this is the Oracle HR UI in the mobile. You can see the details about yourself, like update your details, your addresses. It's just, just wanting to search about any person, right? You can just search about them, view the details. As I said, like people want to know more about their employees. Otherwise, a lot of companies have realized they are going more on LinkedIn to know about their employees than their own systems. So this is how they can get to know more about it. The documents which they can manage, help desk queries. As I said, if somebody has a request, they can request through this and then view the details. Yeah, so my team again gives you the details of your team and then take details and actions about them, right? You can do that. Again, onboarding. So this is also very important. So when you join a company, you have certain tasks to complete. So there's a module which helps you do your onboarding task. Let's say you're joining today, so you need to like get your laptop, get your access, get your things. So tracking that and efficiently completing that is very important for a new hire to efficiently start working in your organization. So all these features, they are part of this onboarding module which Oracle HCM Cloud has. So again, talent management is also part of this, where you can do like overview, reviews, ratings, things like that. So there's a talent module. This is the graphical view of your organization, where you can just drill down your organization, view the organization details. Benefits, right? You have like insurance, medical benefits that can be tracked in that one area. Volunteering is, again, a lot of companies have started like CSR projects, like you can manage those projects in this module. So again, there is some validations which they can add, like if you're doing a promotion, there needs to be certain validations, so that can also be inbuilt. There are some products that are like features which enable you to do that. Yeah, so that is just a quick overview of what Oracle Cloud really is. And then I've just talked about what are the different modules, like financial, project, procurement, supply chain, EPM. These are very high level verticals, and then HCM Cloud itself is a very detailed vertical where you can manage all the information about your employees. So these all make up a cloud ERP application. Now, I want to cover what really are the different roles we talked about in the cloud ERP space, and what skills do you need to develop if you are aiming or wanting to explore this one. Before we go there, right, any questions, right? I just want to pause for a couple of questions. If anyone in the group has any questions. All right, I guess no questions. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
My name is Abdul, sir. So my question is, irrespective of what background we have, could be IT or non-IT, but with the threshold knowledge of coding and all that, if we have any opportunities in the market where we can complete a course, a short-term course, like how back in 90s and 2000s, companies used to offer courses like for three months or 2 months or even 1 month sometimes, like SAP and all that. They used to offer different modules to a short-term course. And then what are the lucrative opportunities, job opportunities after that? Are there still such opportunities now? Thank you.
Okay, okay. So I'll cover that. I think I want to talk about roles and then I'll cover that part. Any other questions?
Yeah,
So,
I
yes.
do have one more question. For this ERP cloud Oracle, the freshers have freshers? They are requirement for freshers also, or they need for only experienced persons for getting the job in the market? They do have a requirement for freshers also. So my question is.
Okay, good. All right. So see, like different companies, right? They need new people to come in. It's an expanding field. There are requirements in this area. Definitely need a new employments to come in. So there's definitely opportunities for fresher. It's just finding the right skill sets which the companies need developed in you. Okay. So with that, I think I understood the question area. So, primarily there are two types of roles, right? In this space, there is a functional role and there is a technical role. And then we already discussed in this area where the shift in cloud ERP is more towards system integrators and application developers and not towards some of the traditional roles where it can be. But that's actually a benefit for us, right? I'll tell you why. Because if you say there are primarily two separations, right? A functional and a technical. So what are functional? Functional is basically are the experts of concept and business process. So let's say human capital management. You would a functional consultant, right? If a company wants to implement a human capital, you need somebody with understanding of your HR processes. Like you need an HR person to understand the process of how a hiring works or how a different process in your system works. So that's the functional understanding. And then you can become a functional person. Again, you don't need any IT background to become a functional. You need a business background. You need to understand the business aspect or basics of how an HR functions, and then use that knowledge to understand the product. So let's say if you are an HR expert or a HR person in your company who does your daily HR job, but you want to become a functional consultant to implement Oracle HCM Cloud. For you, you would take whatever business background you have and then understand the application with that background. That will help you to relate, okay, what this page does, and then relate it to the business process, because there's a lot of requirement for companies of people who understand the business and then they can relate it to the product. Okay, there are different features. So how can they explain in a business sense? So there's a very big requirement for such experts who know the business and also know the product. So to be a functional consultant, like you need to have a domain knowledge, as we say, or the business knowledge of, let's say, any particular area like finance, HR, manufacturing, procure to pay. It can be based on any of your prior knowledge or current functions which you're working. And then you need to understand the product. So that product you can understand through two ways. I think there are trainings available from Oracle as well, and there are definitely trainings available in the market. If you explore, there are a lot of institutes giving trainings about certain products on Oracle. You can take those trainings and then also brush up on your domain knowledge about the product. That's how you can prepare for a functional role. Because in the questions in the functional, like if you're going for an interview or for a functional role, they'll ask you more on business. Let's say you are doing a procure to pay end-to-end process, right? So how will that process, or the different components of the process, how that actual process works, whether different things available in that. So there will be more business driven questions, and there will be some product questions, like if you know the product, how you can configure things like that, which you will know from getting a training. So these type of roles are open for both, again, experienced folks as well who have some background, want to make a move. You can use the knowledge, get some trained on a particular module, and then move towards this role. For freshers, also there are options available, but having some business knowledge, as we said, right? Primarily who have some knowledge of business, right? So if you are an MBA in HR, finance, marketing, you know some background, or if you've done some extensive work even in your bachelor's in your different area where you have some business background, and you have good communication skills, and you want to explore more about the business, then functional role is definitely something you can plan and aim for, and just to work towards it. So again, both freshers and experience have an option. Companies definitely look for freshers as well, because they bring in just new set of ideas, they are ready to learn. But for a fresher to explore this field, you have to be very quick learner. Like you have to embrace and learn very quickly. If you can just prepare yourselves for that, then it's definitely a good career. And I think you can start by exploring what are the training options. I'll tell you Oracle training website where you can find Oracle training, and then definitely search in the market as well. There are courses about the functional training about these different modules. For a technical role, so there's also a lot of openings on the technical role, because somebody who's knowing the product functionality is required, but there's also a need for technical consultants who can develop reports, who can develop extensions. There are different hybrid models the companies have, where they have different modules in different part of the business. They want to send information, receive information from different modules. So there's integration work involved, which involves a lot of Java development also in some cases, and then also understanding of the tables or table structure or the technical background of the application, right? So you need technical consultants too, and then these are primarily like this should primarily be students who are doing like BTech or BCA, or any like coding or IT related. If you have a certification, and again you need to be expert in some of these areas, or at least have your basics very strong, right? They definitely have good knowledge of SQL, different table structures, and then have good knowledge of how extensions or system integrations between couple of systems can be built, file based integrations, things like. So having basic knowledge, a good understanding of these aspects can set you up for this role. But more and more technical roles also need some understanding of the business. So again, it's not a time where you can just be a technical and be competitive in the market. Like you need to have conceptual business skill as well. Like whatever you're doing, you need to be able to understand the background of why you're doing the work. And if you are new in this field, I think you should ask more questions and then understand the background of why you're doing that. Will help you build your skills over time, and understand. And then also a need to have like your time management, leadership skills in this area too. For technical consultants, again, a lot of companies do look for freshers too. But again, you just need to be able to adapt and learn new technologies, like have some basic knowledge of all the core concept understanding, and then build knowledge. Because with cloud, the application evolves very quickly. Like there is a update to the product every quarter. Every quarter there's a new version coming in, new features coming in, so it's changing. So nobody can say that, hey, I know this product very well. Like you would know the basics of the concept, but the features get on added, so you have to keep on learning. So again, get the basics right, get your fundamentals strong, and then you can prepare for um, functional and the technical role. Does that answer your question? I think both of you had questions about what roles you have.
Yes, sir. Jazakallah.
Yes,
Well
sir.
explained.
And one more
Yeah.
thing,
Go
is it certification is mandatory for getting a job in the market?
So again, I think like some of the applications like Workday has a mandate requirement to get a certification, but something like Oracle, they don't mandate it, but more and more there's a focus of getting people certified because they can just say that hey, they at least know or have certain level of knowledge. So having a certification helps, but it's not mandatory to make an entry into this area.
Okay.
Okay. So
Hello. Assalamu
yeah,
alaikum.
go ahead.
Yeah, Siri here.
Mhm.
So, what are the scopes in the market in present scenario in Oracle HCM? I mean, how many years this ERP we going to run into the market? Because
So
I'm
you
very
will.
much enthusiastic to learn this Oracle HCM. So
Mhm.
previously, I'm just doing a research and development on this, researching about
Mhm.
this. So I just want to know that how would the market will be sustained in this Oracle HCM.
See, as I told you, the shift is towards cloud, and everybody wants to get the benefit of new features, in the system without having to invest a lot or research themselves, right? So there's definitely a lot of market in different companies implement this product. There will be need for some people to maintain the product for them or maintain the updates for them. So the requirement keep involved, and future, like, the definitely new things evolve, right? So you make a move in this area, you learn more, you grow more, right? Again, things change in the future, right? We can't predict what future will bring, like what new other product can come in. But you get your basics right, you learn the technologies, you adapt to the change, and you will be relevant in the market, inshallah.
Jazakallah.
So one more thing.
Mhm.
So how do we prepare for to crack the interviews in having of experience around 1 year or 2 years in
Right.
an account executive? My domain is an account executive, so
Mhm.
I do have a knowledge on accounts and all. Currently, I'm
Mhm.
doing Oracle Fusion only, Fusion
Mhm.
Financials. Especially,
Mhm.
I'm taking the training in Bangalore itself. But
Okay.
how do we prepare and how do we crack the interview? Some tips and tricks.
Right. So see, lot of people who interview, right? They again are not very hands-on in the application. So they will, like, it depends on who's interviewing, but they'll definitely grill you on the basic fundamentals of accounting, right? So you need to be very thorough with those, like basic business knowledge. And then in your application, right, you need to then relate those fundamentals to whatever configuration screens are available. What are the configuration options? How do you define a flow? And I think that would have already been started explaining by your trainer in your training, right? Oracle Financials. How
Yes.
do you configure? Or what are the basics? Like, what are the steps, right? How do you start to configure a ledger, cost center, different flex fields? How do you add a new field? How do you reporting? So basics, right? But again, fundamentals of accounting should be very strong. You should be thorough, because most of the time, based on my experience, like, we take interviews, we don't go into details of application, but we go into details of business domain. If you're going for a functional role, we want to understand that the accounting basics, or HR process basics very well. And then again, on top of that, if you know configuration end to end, like flows or different steps involved, that's an added benefit. Like, anybody can start then picking up new technology if it comes, because basic should be what the companies look to, that they need to be strong before they can hire someone.
Okay. Thank you.
So Oracle University is the website if you want to more, like, explore more about what are the different learning paths from Oracle. Oracle University gives you details about cloud ERP, human capital management, what trainings are available, what certification are available, right? It's a very intuitive website. You can go and just explore yourself. But if you are pure fresher, you have not learned or not, like, explored this, definitely having a training from an institute would help, because having some hands-on is what will help you clear this certification very easily. Otherwise, it's going to be a little challenging, because some of the questions are more practical versus theory. So if you have done some hands-on, that will be easy for you. So this is very like it tell you what the certification is about. There are different categories of what it can like it comprises of different parts or certification like courses you need to take to be able to give this exam, right? Those will be explained here. So again, I think some information is available basically without any details, but if you need further, I think you need to register and pay some amount to like actually register for the implementation. But uh, the product guides and all, right, are very much available online. So Sayed, as you mentioned, you're doing financials, right? The product guides for financials are all available online. There will be also a table repository available. So if you see this, right, there will be a lot of functionality documents or product guides will be available online. So just go through that and then understand all these details which are available. See Oracle Functional Concept Guide, right? So these are, again, validate which version you are looking it for, but it will have all the details. A lot of these things are available online. It's just going out and exploring and just making yourself ready for it.
Okay.
Different paths, right? Like global HR has a certification, talent management, recruiting. Again, every individual module has different certification.
So I think in financial there are different models. So one model, how much they cost for certification? Do you have any idea about this?
I think about 18 to 20,000. I'm not really sure. It depends on which certification you're taking, and then what are the backgrounds to it.
Okay.
It depends. It varies based on certification. I think website can give you more details about it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. I see one more hand raised. Any other questions, Abdul?
Yes, sir. On the same line, for project management, SAP would be better, sir, compared to Oracle.
It depends. I think there are different options in the market. I'm actually not a very much well versed with what SAP offers in that area, so I'm not the right person to answer. But try to see what different companies have implemented, right? How what companies use project management, what are the options. Again, go to job sites and search if you have openings by that role. It will be very easy to search by that role, and then you'll find out what really is more happening, and then you can choose that path. But again, choose any path, get your fundamentals right, and then moving on to different products is easier as well later on.
Because so my core is into production, project management. So I feel I'm more suitable and would be more adaptable in future on the long run. I would fit more better on the functional as well as technical, because right now I'm pursuing my BCA also. I'm a mechanical graduate on the start, and now I'm pursuing my BCA also, and I foresee a good career opportunity in software. So I'm starting from the scratch rather than being at the mercy of someone else. Why not equip ourselves with domain knowledge and core knowledge? So I'm starting with BCA. I'm joined the evening college. I'm doing my BCA alhamdulillah. First semester is through now. Now, along with this, I am seeing where exactly I belong to. I'm just trying to explore things.
Correct. So I think understand your domain knowledge. You said you're from a mechanical or project or production standpoint, right? Understand where your business knowledge lies, into which business flow and what products are aligned to it. As you said, SAP also is a very good product, I think, especially for the production like manufacturing and other industries, right? So see if that makes sense for you, right? If that is more close, because I know SAP is also used by a lot of more companies in that space. again, filter out which module or which function your domain knowledge belongs to, have a strong understanding of different aspects, and then understand what application and then develop. BCA would help you to be a more informed consultant, because then you'll have some tech background as well. But having those combined knowledge is what like what business needs these days, right? They need people who are strong in both business and technology. That those roles definitely are more looked out for.
And now my kind of challenge right now is to find out which institution gives kind of ethical training. You know what I mean. So I just want to be more negative on that, because they just take the money and हाथ में थमा देते हैं एक certificate and you get nothing out of it. I am looking for a training institute where they train you ethically, and I am ready to put my 100%, provided I get that what is required in the market by the employers. Any such one or two institutions would be very helpful one, kind of a route for a lost person.
We'll take that as a, I mean, we'll probably see and do some research. For now, I haven't explored. Well, go back to our MFID team and see if we have such institutes we can look at and then get some information out. But for now, I think try to reach out to more people, your trusted resources, go and visit and explore to find out more. But we'll see what we can do in that space.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
All right, any other questions? All right, if not, thank you so much for joining. There are a lot of online resources I used in this session, so just giving some references of where we would have referred those details from. Hope you've got some more understanding of cloud ERP and why people are choosing cloud over others and what other roles available. Wishing you all the best for the people who are looking out for opportunities in the area. If you are interested in knowing some more details on different detailed topics, then do raise that request. We'll probably come back with more detailed sessions if we find more useful or more people interested in that area.
Okay, Jazakallah, Raziuddin bhai. Really very interesting and knowledgeable session. MashaAllah, all of us gained new insights about cloud and ERP. And as you mentioned, inshallah, we'll have more detailed sessions going on, inshallah. And thanks to all the participants for joining and making it a lively session. So for the weekends, we'll keep on having such regular sessions. And if any one of you wants to share their knowledge with the rest of us, please feel free to contact me and we can arrange for your webinar also, inshallah. Okay, with this, I'll close the session. Thanks a lot to everyone.
Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.